Oh, my first memories, of course, being aware of New Zealand was when I met a young sailor in St James's Park in London, where I was a student nurse, and he came along and sat beside me and said, "Do you mind if I sit with you?" I said, "Oh no, I don't mind," because I was on my own.
How old were you then?
I'd be 18 then. And so he said, "Oh well," I said I had to go back on duty until 7 o'clock, so maybe, he said, "Oh well, in that case I'll come and get you and we'll go out for dinner and dance," because they had a lot of those sort of halls, all full of servicemen, dancing. And we got on quite well, and then of course he had to go back on the train to Plymouth. What's the name of the place where he was? Oh, anyway.
Glenholt, was it?
Glenholt, yeah. It's down in New Plymouth, in Cornwall or somewhere. And and arranged to write to each other, But he wrote, and I read the letter and everything, and I put it in a drawer, and I thought it was still there when I went to get to answer it. But it wasn't there, was it? I'd cleaned my drawer out, and I must have away it went. So I thought, oh well, never mind, goodbye, I probably won't see him again.
Well, luckily you did, or we wouldn't all be here.
No, that's right. It might be in some other guise, whatever. And anyway, a month went by, and he wrote again, and he said, "I'm very disappointed. I was sure you were going to write to me." And I said, "Oh well." I explained what had happened, and of course from there on we kept seeing each other whenever he had leave come up on the train. It was always by train.
To London.
To London. And then of course it started to get serious, and it was one time when we were rowing around on the Serpentine, which is a lake in London, that he proposed to me. And I said to him, "Oh, as long as you're not married or engaged." And he said no, but he was engaged. But anyway, that's by the way. And so, of course, he had to come down and see Mum to make sure that he could marry me. And we were all sitting around the table, and he said, "Oh, Mrs. Walker, I'd like to marry your daughter." "Oh," she said, "she's far too young to know her own mind." So I thought, I said, "I'm all right, Mum." So anyway, never came to any conclusion then. But she refused to give permission because I was underage, under 21, you have to have permission. So it wasn't until the last day before I left to come out here that Mum wrote on a paper, "I'll give permission." So it was up in the air till then, but in the meantime Grandad had booked my passage on the boat. I rang a ticket, and they kept me very well informed from the, officers of the shipping company. When one time it was going to be something else, and then they changed it again, and it ended up being the 31st of May. So we set sail, and it was all right until we got just along by the Bay of Biscay there, and things got a bit rough. Most people went down with seasickness, but because I've been used to going travelling from Portsmouth to the Isle of Wight, my home place, I was all right. So of course, then when the lady came up to me, she said, "I'm so sick." She said, "Would you look after my little girl?" And she was about 2. I thought, "Oh, well, I suppose I can." I said, "I'll bring her down and give her her meals down," because all the married women who had children were down below their place where they went to eat. And so that's what I did for a few days till the when I came right again. And then off we went and got through the Panama Canal. It was quite interesting. And then we're just going out into the Pacific. I suppose we'd been going perhaps half a day. And the engine broke down on the Rangatiki.
And you were on your own. Did you come with Bert, or...?
No. Oh, no, he was well ahead of me. He came back 1945 Christmas Eve. He landed back here. He came out on the HMS Atheling. Oh, no, he had to go back with the Navy. Yeah. So, and of course, as I said, we had to more or less turn round and go back, limp back to Panama, I think it was. Not sure it was Panama or Cristobal. But anyway, and so they took this part, and the Americans took it and said they would fly it back to England to get some work done on it, you know. So while we waited, we had about 10 days there.
Can you move those towels, please, Dee?
You mean on the line?
So what year was this that you came over?
I came out in 1946. I left in 46.
Right.
And arrived here on July the 19th, 1946. And,
You had a pretty good time on board, didn't you?
yeah, well, they took us, the Americans were most hospitable. They took us out every day to something. And one was including going down into a submarine. But
Really?
before we went down, we all had to line up. And there was all the crew. And each member of the crew had to take one of us and show us around. So that's what happened on one of the days out. Another one I remember was when a man told me about these 4 men on the corner of a monument, and he said, oh, the yellow, the black and so on. He said, but you know what, the yellow race is going to one day rule the world. He told me that then. That was over 66 years ago, you know. Anyway, that's what I remember. And after that, of course, we got back, and I didn't have much in my suitcase because I didn't have any clothes. But what I did have was a couple of coloured towels. It just had a red stripe, red on creamy colour stripe. And all the girls went there, and Bert's sisters, you know, Granddad's sisters, saw them. Oh, we can't buy these. We'd like them for some of these. And I said, well, of course I didn't know, because I never had anything to do with them before I came out. You know, I didn't know a soul in New Zealand except Granddad, of course. And anyway, but then I had to go and live with Dulce and her father. And Lil's coming back onto the scene too. Her sister, she got married in March. But I think they went back to live down near Bill's mother, her husband's mother, before they finally came back. Anyway, Dulce wasn't married then. They married 6 months after us. The one, you know, the reunion we'd just been to.
Yes.
They just had their Blue Sapphire anniversary.
So what year were you married?
46, and they were married 47.
47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we knew about it, you know. Uncle Ivan was in the wind, and Granddad didn't know, I don't think, until he came home. He said, I'm wondering what sort of bloke this is, you know. I suppose they all wondering what this girl was all about too. But anyway, it seemed to settle in quite nice. But they did most of the arranging for the wedding, and the church was just along the road then. Not a church anymore, unfortunately, but... And so 3 weeks later we were married, because you had to be in the country 3 weeks before you could get married. And Dulce, actually his younger sister, who was still unmarried, was my bridesmaid, because I didn't know anybody. I couldn't have been able to choose anybody. And we had our reception up at Jones's up there, corner shop. But before that we had a kitchen afternoon. They called a kitchen afternoon when everybody comes to meet you, sort of thing, and brings a little gift, something. I think I got so many egg beaters, you know, that's the old one handle one. Yeah.
And rolling pins.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those gifts still?
I don't think so.
Any wedding gifts? Or?
No, I don't think.
But your wedding dress is still about, isn't it?
Eh?
Your wedding dress. You still have that?
But
It's in a
not
bag
very
in my room, it's disintegrating.
Yeah. Something must have got in, because twice I've lent it out to people who wanted it for it to show.
Yes.
But I have got a photo of it at our golden wedding anniversary.
I remember that.
And they put it up on the thing, you know. So, but that's probably the only memory I've got of now. Which was sad that when I in a way I wished I hadn't lent it out, but you know, you feel mean if you don't. So some of the girls were a bit bigger than me, and they were stretched it, you know.
You settled with Bert on Mount Pleasant.
Yes. Well, he came down. Well, we haven't got there yet, Colin.
Oh.
we
Who
came
gave
to
you away, Mum? Because you didn't have...
Uncle Len, Uncle Len, who was the husband of Dad's auntie, what's her name? The shepherd's mother, anyway. You know all the shepherds?
Yes.
Oh, heap of them. About 9 boys and 3 girls.
Len Shepherd.
Len Shepherd, yeah. But I'm trying to think of his mother's name, Auntie Dolly, I think it was. Yeah. And of course we had that arranged, and they took me up there, and of course they all come to me. I can still see her now walking down the drive, you might say, and with a big smile on her face and a white apron on, you know, in the old days, and long dress. And yeah, they gave me quite a nice welcome. Now I think they still had 2 or 3 children at home, not married. Because old Barry Shepherd, he's one of them. You know old Barry? Yeah. And yeah, so over the years, of course, but most of them went to a different church to us, so I never got to know them a lot. But I do see them from time to time. And yeah, so then after that, we married in the Port Warrahenny Methodist Church, which is now a house, made in a house.
Did you have a honeymoon at all?
Oh yes, we went away in an old roadster. We got a photo of that somewhere, haven't we, Colin?
Yeah.
Dig it out.
And they had a little seat at the back. You know what they call those seats?
Oh,
There's only 2 in the front.
Dicky seat.
Yeah, yeah.
Dicky seat.
And where did you go?
We went up the west coast. We turned off the Brynderwyns, went up through the forest. First night was at Mangatoroto Hotel there.
Yes.
Still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there we went on through and we got out to went out to Miti Miti, which is sort of a branch off. You go left and before we got to Kaitaia, because we were going to Kaitaia because we wanted to go see the lighthouse. And I think we didn't. That must have been another time because we had a tent. I won't tell that story.
Go on.
Well, it was only that in the morning we were still in bed and someone pushed the tent flap aside.
Yeah.
Said, "Oh, I wondered who was here." It was one of the old priests from the Catholic settlement there, you know. And I said, "Oh, yeah, just us," and got embarrassed as anything. And yeah, and then we went on up to the lighthouse. I've been up 2 or 3 times, but now they say it's quite different, you know.
Mm.
But it's a great view from up there. Went up and had a look out, see the meeting of the oceans, you know. Came back down the East Cape, down the east. I don't know how long we were away. Oh, I say, on the way up, we went out to see the Meals, which was the land where Pop, Grandad, like your Grandad's father, went when he took his bride up there and to Kaihuwai. It's called Orangi or something. Isn't it? Just it caught me on the hop a bit. Anyway, to meet them, it was a real pleasure. Jack and Geraldine Meal. And they were so pleased to see us. And afterwards, after we'd spent one night there, they took us out to their batch out at Monganui Bluff, which is on the west side. And we stayed in their batch. And the batch walls, they, you know, up and down, and they had gaps about a bit, you see. Oh, I didn't like that much, but anyway. After another night, we all went down and got toiroas. Whoppers they were.
Beauty.
Real big ones. And she made up these beautiful toiroi fritters. But then that next day they had to go home. And said we could stay there as long as we liked. But that night, we were on our own. There was awful noise underneath the batch. Oh my goodness. And your granddad said, "Oh, I think it's those jolly penguins." And they were all up there. You know how the batch slopes back, like there's a narrows that went back with the floor like that, see? And they're all sitting up there, so they got hold of a big long stick or pole, All they did was jump over it.
Oh, goody! Something to jump over.
Yeah. And so, but we barely sleepless night until they went out early in the morning.
I'm just going to stop you there.
Way.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she'd been gone 2 years.
That's Bert's that's Bert's mum.
Mother.
You
Yeah.
never got to meet her.
No. But I knew Pop well. We used to get on well together, Pop and I.
Yeah.
He used to come over and stay. And he always wanted me to cut his hair for him because he said, my daughters, they never seem to have time to cut my hair. I said, oh, I'll cut your hair, Pop. And then after a while, of course, these fellas came along. When he used to come over every so often, we all took a turn, the family, having him for a few days. He said, oh, I think you should buy a pair of electric clippers. Told your granddad. He said, I suppose he said, oh, yes, I suppose I should. And of course, then it was much easier to have the electric clippers, you know. But, oh, well, of course, Nigel came along, and I remembered going over to the cowshed. I think we'd moved up from where it was when Bert was single. It was down in the dip, and it was all very wet and muddy.
By the piggery there, by the dam.
Oh, the cowshed was moved.
Yeah, right from down the bottom there. No, not by the piggery. It was down.
Further down.
Yeah,
By the boundary, right?
Yeah. Oh, it could have been near the other boundary, but that bit of boundary was on Harry Litton's. He had that for Muriel, of course. See, Pop, Bert's father, wanted every one of his family to have a bit of land.
That's Harry's stables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yes, Harry.
Yes, Harry.
That's right. And so that part, which, although his sister Gwen was the other side of us, of course, with her family, she already had 4 children, and Harry would bring some of his cows over because he had a farm at Port Albert, you see. But that wasn't provided by Harry. I call him Pop. It was a Lytton apparently, and they stayed there. But Dawson, of course, and Ivan went on another farm where old fella Riley used to live, and I think he bought it for about £5 or something. Amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
But mind you, it was gum store land, and it wasn't very robust in nutrition, sort of thing, you know. But they had I think the first little house was down by the water, but I never saw that. But when I came out, he was up, and but they had to do it up. And Uncle Guy, which is one of Bert's uncles on the Withford side, he was a carpenter, and he did it up for Dulce and Ivan. So that's where they went when they got married.
And whereabouts is that?
At Warahini, only the other end, going down towards Tapora.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been down on that park yet?
And Archua Park?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes, I
have?
have.
Yeah.
When the Shetlanders were there to take photos.
Oh, yeah, right. That was a wonderful gift to the community, wasn't
Absolutely. Yeah, lovely couple.
it? Yeah.
And what else could you tell us about your memories of Warahini, like the families that you remember
Oh,
there?
well, we had some good dances up there, you know. And then it got a bit awkward. The more children we had, the more times I might have to stay home. And so perhaps, you know, if it was for some special occasion, of course,
Yes.
Bert would have to go, because I didn't drive for a start. But when Colin and Bruce were about, it might have been 7 and 5 or something a bit less, I started driving, and I was driving for a whole year. Shouldn't say it, without a licence. And just round Warahini mostly.
Would you go into Wellsford?
Yeah, I did,
Yeah.
but not much, not many times, because too busy, you know. Because I used to help out on the farm too. Because when, you know, Brenda wanted to go fishing or anything, I'd have to be there to come in. I was soon taught how to milk cows, you know. I loved the old way of doing it though.
Yes.
Didn't like it so much once they got up on the you know, bales.
So you're milking by hand?
No,
No?
no, we had machines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he built that shed that I worked in mostly.
So he's off
Then-
deer stalking and you're doing the milking.
Yeah, well, sometimes when my children were very young, of course, I couldn't really do it. So old Doug Marsh, which is the uncle of that fellow that was talking today with
Peter.
the Australian hat on, Peter Marsh.
yeah.
Yeah, he was. He came,
Yeah, and I suppose it would be the
and he
dry
was a
season.
bachelor. He never married,
Yeah.
and I can remember being going to bed at night, and I could hear this deep breathing, and I used to get a bit worried. I thought, oh my goodness, you know, but it wasn't anything. He was all right, old Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, clever lot. His father, Peter's father too, of course. He was very clever. Jack, he was away for 4 years in England at the war.
Jack
teaching
and
him
Tess, I remember Jack.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I used to be friends with Tessie, and it's very hard because he was a. Anyway, yeah, we came quite friendly, and when Marion was born and
Yes.
got the news, I engaged Jack to fly me down to Fielding, where they lived. They bought an old house, sort of two-story.
Yes.
The room came in like this, you know, the sort of top part was like an attic thing. But it was quite nice, you know. So, and so it was 3 hours. Colin came with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we chased the sheep off the...
Yeah, you had to drive in first and scare the sheep off the
Where was
paddock
this?
where
Is
there was
this
land.
down from Warrahini Hall on the airstrip? No, where
this
was
was
No, we had to go to
flew
Kuiper
from
Flats.
Kuiper Flats to Fielding.
Right.
Yeah, went to Kuiper Flats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your fondest memory of your life in Warrahini?
Oh, goodness.
Farm life.
Probably bringing home my firstborn son.
I'll vote for that.
There he is.
Well, I thought I was pretty clever.
Or editor, rather. Okay.
Oh, well, that's it.
Yeah, can't on see it.
Well, I've
I
seen-
can remember Mum bringing beautiful hot warm scones and a big billy of tea down the paddock when we were making hay. Boy, did we used to love that.
Yeah.
Hot, hard work, and that home cooking was
I used
just
to
great.
toss a few bales myself too. Help, you know. But I couldn't lift them very high, but I could put them into position, roll them along and put them all together sort of thing. You know.
Yes.
Group them up ready for picking up by the truck. Yeah.
I used to enjoy my childhood going down the batch.
Oh,
You know, and
yeah.
we'd go and get cockles, I suppose, and oysters, and
Yeah.
catch a few flatties in the net.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful times.
Yeah, we had some good times too. Got some good photos of all of us down there by the batch.
Mm.
Because Nige and Gary and Dad and your granddad, they built that place, you see.
It's still there.
And it was down on the foreshore for a start.
Yes.
Then one winter, you know, all the sand came down the gullies with a lot of rain and built up right up the silt right up to the back doorstep, and you usually had to go up 2 or 3 steps. So then he decided, Granddad decided to take it up further out of the way. But while it was down there, it was good for when the children were little because I could keep more of an eye on them. I didn't have to go very far, you know. I was a bit limited the vision when I got up top there. But
Just dip them in the tide and give them a scrub.
And it must have been a wonderful life for the kids growing up on the farm.
yeah, well, that was some of the happy times. Yeah, really happy. And we used to drive the car down there, of course, but for a start, we didn't go down the way we ended up going. We used to go down through another paddock where
Through
the
the
Penny
orchard.
Royal was.
Yeah.
I don't know, the middle paddock there. Yeah.
And who were the neighbours when you had a young family growing up there?
Well, first of all, of course, it was Bert's brother-in-law and sister, Gwen Beaver. Gwen and Jim Beaver both passed on now. Incidentally, I didn't see any of them there today. Did you?
No, I didn't.
There's 700 people registered for the 150th Albert
Yeah,
Annual
well, of
Union.
course they might have come down later, they might, you know. But because they'd not long been down, all came down to Auntie Dawes and Uncle Ivan's wedding anniversary. See, they had it in the Red Beach Church, and it's a big round building. And what they did was they put the chairs all round in a sort of square and put round tables in the middle. So you all sit round, a group here and a group there and a group somewhere else, which was very good, you know.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't make it, but I did see it in the paper just on Tuesday, wasn't it? In Tuesday's
Yeah,
Times.
I haven't got that paper.
Oh, I'll get you a copy of it.
Will you?
A great little article.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that'd be good. Because I said, who did I say? Oh, I asked Rakesh, my, grocer who brings out things. But he didn't bring anything. Perhaps he couldn't find anything. I don't know.
So that's Bert's sister.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Youngest sister.
Youngest sister.
No. Oh, yeah, Doss and Ivan were. Yes,
Yeah.
Doss.
Yeah.
That's her and I are the only survivors now of that generation.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Could you just briefly tell us about the brothers and sisters of Bert's and what they did?
Oh.
Starting with Ray.
Oldest brother was Ray. Raymond.
And they were farming down at Muriwai
I've got fond
in
memories
the
of
early
Ray.
days.
He was a big man, Ray.
Yeah. And I believe he was in the army during the war, but he never went overseas.
Right.
He'd be a bit older, and also he was married, and I think had one child. He had three. He married a woman who already had two boys. So then when their daughter came along, that made three. And we went down there. It was a lot of fun, really. Enjoyed that, going down there. Ray and Bernice, of course, they lived at Glen Eden, and they had a real dinky little farm sort of place. I don't think they realised how great it was, but they probably sold out pretty well, because you know how things went. Everybody wanted a block of land and somewhere, and then by that time they were getting older and needed something perhaps a bit less work. They had a fire, and we had to dish out or pay something to get them a new washing machine or something. And I said, well, I really didn't have a washing machine myself. Not an automatic anyway.
Yes.
But,
Is that when they're at Titterangi?
yeah, it was Glen Eden, really.
Oh, okay.
So did you used to use a copper?
Conany Road, yeah.
So you were using a copper on the farm, sorry?
Oh yeah, for a start I was,
Mm.
yeah.
Yes, I can remember you pushing our shirts into the really hot water
Yeah,
with a big stick.
yeah, that's right. But then Dad decided we'd take off part of it, somehow, and make the wash house separate from the house. Which now, when I think about it, really wasn't the best. Because in those days you couldn't have the phone with you. It was always in the house. There's none of this business of carting it round and just being able to answer it,
There was all the party line up
So
there on
every
the farm.
time in the middle of winter, you in the wash house, you had to come across, well, it'd be from here over to that doorway there, in the wind. And it was round the south, you see. We had to come out our door, and the wind would come across from the south. But anyway, we survived it, and yeah. And then, of course, there's Auntie Bernice had 5 children. Two boys and 3 girls. They were all down at the thing the other day.
65th.
She is a really homely one. And she's on a horse there. See that horse there? That's
yes.
Auntie Bernice sitting there.
Right.
They're all there except Doss. Apparently that photo was taken before Auntie Doss was born. She probably might have even been on the way.
We'll scan all those or pop them all in.
Yeah, this might help you prompt
Oh, I know all
who
the
to talk
names.
about. Oh, right.
I know.
So who was after Auntie Bernice?
Auntie Lil. Was it Auntie Lil or Auntie Muriel?
Probably in this order here. Look.
That's Auntie Muriel. And that's Auntie Lil. And that's Auntie Gwen. That's Uncle Frank. And that's Grandad. Bert.
Yeah,
Your dad.
that photo there
And that's
is.
the mother, because there's Uncle Ray. He's the eldest. She's the second one. But there was one between those two that died. And that's the one that
Who was that?
who went for the a special occasion to Kaihu for the family reunion.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He's just a little chap there, isn't he? It looks like he got a little rocking horse or something. Granddad.
So we'll scan all these photos and we'll put them in the video so we can
I see.
see who
Who's next in line after Auntie Bernice, Colin?
Auntie Bernice,
I think it's Auntie Muriel.
Auntie Lil,
Auntie,
Auntie Muriel,
yeah.
Uncle Frank,
Yeah.
Auntie Gwen, Bert,
And then Dulce.
Dulce.
Yeah.
And Bert was quite the Kiwi engineer, wasn't he? Like he was
Yes.
always building. Or
Oh, yeah.
could you tell us some of
Could
his
do that. Oh, God.
some stories of something that he's created? Or
Did he build the farm buildings when you were there?
Yes.
The wool shed?
Yeah, the wool shed. And I think the part where he had the bison and all that, I think he built onto that. He built the lean-to onto it, the bigger part. Yeah. Put our car in and that. Yeah. Yes, he was very good. He could almost do anything really. That was, tackled a bit like Nigel. Just like that. Yeah. Because he loved engineering, and that's what he would like to have gone in the Navy for. But they didn't have any vacancies at that stage, so he had to take on being a telegraphist. So he had to do a course down at North Shore.
Devonport?
Devonport, yeah.
Yeah.
And passed out in all that. He had passed out well, in his exams, and then he went up round the islands, of course. He was posted on the old Tui. What's that for, Colin?
I thought the boys might want to go out and play.
you go frisbee, boys.
It goes over the fence, you have to go get it. We have balls come over here from the kids next door. There's children over this
You
way.
chuck them over the next and over on the other side.
Yeah, tennis ball and
Yeah, I'm
everything.
throwing a few back.
Yeah. And what about your siblings, Grandma? Who's still alive of your siblings? Are they all gone? Your brother?
Yeah, my brother's gone.
Yeah.
He did come out once.
Yeah.
John.
After he retired, my brother John, he was my only thing. Because Mum got married late in life.
Could you tell us about your parents? I don't really know your parents, of course. I never met.
Well, I didn't know Dad for very long, really.
Yeah.
Because he died when I was about, probably younger than Graham is now. But he was very ill when I was 4. And I can remember Mum getting me all dressed up. We were going into town, This was in Woking in Surrey. Dad had moved there for some reason not known to me to work in a real estate office. He was a clerk. And he had a bike. He used to bike from Woking to that other place. I can't remember what it is. I know it on the map. Anyway, but when I was 4 years old and I was getting dressed up in this little brown outfit, Mum said, "Oh, we can't go now, Daddy's not well." But of course, being that young, only 4, I didn't realise so serious it was. But I remember her saying afterwards, she said, the doctor told me that if I hadn't been a nurse, your dad mightn't have pulled through. But he was never the same again.
Your mother was a nurse as well.
She was a trained nurse. She finished her things more than I did, see. But I gave it up to come out here.
And what were you doing during the war? Like, what was...
Well, for the first part of the war, I was at in Ventnor when it first started. Saw some of the first bombs drop. And I thought, oh, they're dropping little packets out of the sky, Mum. She said, and then boom, boom, but some of the patients she was looking after out at the other end of town, it was quite a long way, and I think of my mother, she never had a car, she'd walk everywhere, And and this Miss Venables, Maud Venables was her name, she had a house and a big estate, but it was under the pylons on Mount Boniface, which sort of shows the back of Ventnor.
Yeah.
And she said that we'd been advised to take her from here to a place less dangerous, So, of course, being that young, I had to go too. So, I was about 15 then. I went to Linden College in Shanklin, which is the second next place up from Ventnor, up on It's on the coast too. And what did I do then? Oh.
Just quickly tell us about the Blitz. We've got 20 seconds left. How did you get caught up in the Blitz?
Oh, well, for a start, we had hit and run raids on the island. And while we was this place, Shanklin, one came over and dropped some bombs. And then he come roaring up the main street. My girlfriend and I were at the main street seeing somebody off. And I said, oh, yeah. And so I said to my girlfriend, with Zoe and I, throw yourself to the ground. And we threw ourselves to the ground up by a shop, because we're in the middle of town. And they came zooming up our street, the main street, with a machine gun going.
Well, what type of planes were they?
German.
German, very, yeah.
I don't know now which sort of type of one they were, but and I said when they came down, we got up. I said, "Oh, I think there's something on my back," and I had my furry gloves on, and I put my hands up, and it was all wet because I couldn't see what it was, but it was wet. And I realised then, my girlfriend said, "I think you've been hit, Grandma." Not Grandma.
Yeah, you're my grandma. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, oh, well, Mum will look after me. She's a trained nurse. And with that, the ambulance came down through the town, and he stopped and he said, anybody here? And my girlfriend must have said something. And so he came out and said to me, I'd like you to get in the ambulance. And I said, oh, no. I said, I'd be all right. My mother's a nurse. She'll look after me. No, you've got to get in. So in I got. And then we went on round to the Catholic church and had a direct hit. And there was people in there coming out. They're bringing them all out and everything. Some were sitting, some had got dust and stuff in their eyes. But these two little girls were thrown up against the hot radiator and it got burnt. And of course, they had to lay on the beds, you know. And so, and with that, we went on then to the home arrest emergency hospital, where incidentally I was a telephonist. At that time I'd left school, and and so they put me in there, and I had to wait. I can always remember they laid me on my tummy and put the resuscitation cradle over to keep me warm, I suppose. And I was only 16, by the way. I was 16, and that they said, oh, well, later on tonight you're going to have an operation. So I said, oh yeah, I suppose so. Mum had come in and seen me. She seemed quite happy that I was all right. And so that carried on, and when I went and had my operation, I remember going buzzing, and know how it goes round and round. I think it was gas. And then you go out. And the next morning when I really woke up, I looked at the person alongside me, because they had everybody in the one big room in those days. They were a bit different today. And I said, by Joe, I thought to myself, that's my old teacher, because Mother sent me to a Catholic school for a while. I don't know how long I was there. And it was Sister Veronica. And she had this big lump on her head, because she was in the Catholic Church then. And she seemed pleased that I was there, you know, and yet she was a bit of an old tartar when I went to school, because she was a bit mean in as much that she wouldn't let you go to the toilet when you wanted to, and you know, this sort of thing. But I suppose when you're kids, you know. But anyway, I stayed there for a fortnight, a whole fortnight, and I didn't see my boyfriend for a fortnight. Of course it wasn't.
Did they pick much shrapnel out of you?
Yes. They said it wasn't big, the opening, but it was deep. And I was jolly lucky that it didn't pierce my lung. And they told they must have taken the shrapnel out and sewn me up. Yeah. So...
but you've made it, and you ended up in New Zealand.
Yeah, and I'm 85 and still going strong enough anyway.
Thank you very much, Grandma. I've really enjoyed the stories. It's been great.